All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awakened Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're new to me, new to my show, new to my channel, please do subscribe so that you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing, wonderful speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their readings, their healings, etc., so that we can all thrive and so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And today, my dear friend, Dr.MoNique, is back with us, and we're going to be talking about ancestrally rooted manifestation, partnering with your ancestors to awaken prosperity and step into your boldest vision. So, some of what we're going to talk about is the number one manifestation mistake that keeps spiritual seekers struggling and how to shift it with ancestral wisdom, the energetic blocks you've inherited and how to clear them for financial and spiritual abundance, how your ancestors are actively supporting you, even if you've never connected with them before, the sacred manifestation formula, the missing piece in co-creating your dream life with ease, how to recognize when your ancestors are sending you messages and signs to guide your path. And of course, like always, Dr.MoNique will be doing some mini readings live on the call, which we absolutely love. Oh my goodness, I can hardly wait. There's always so much wisdom in these, and so much information comes through for everyone, not just the person who's asking the question. And if you don't know Dr.MoNique, she's been with us many, many times. We love having her on the show. Again, it's always high vibe. The readings are phenomenal, like spot on. Like she's so connected. I'm like amazed. It's like so amazing. So, Dr.MoNique is here to shake up everything that you thought you knew about manifestation. And trust me, after this, you'll never look at your ancestors the same way again. Dr.MoNique is an ancestral mentor and spiritual teacher who helps women in their second act reclaim their sacred inheritance, the spiritual gifts, wisdom, and prosperity codes passed down through their lineage. And through her signature programs, Roots to Riches, Your Sacred Inheritance, and the Heiress Treasury Vault, she teaches how to partner with your ancestors to activate your unique ancestral medicine, unlock abundance, break through generational blocks, and manifest with ease. So, if you've been working too hard to manifest, it might just be the time to call in some backup. Your ancestors have been waiting. So get ready today to take some notes, open your heart, and maybe even have a few spirit guides on speed dial. So please welcome Dr.MoNique back to the show. MoNique,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. I always love being here on your show. We always have so much fun.
We do. I love it too because I always learn so much. I get so many ahas, and just things seem to fall into place whenever you are on the show and sharing. So I always enjoy it. I always get something out of it because even sometimes when you're speaking to one of the callers and giving them wisdom, the information that you give is relevant for all of us,
Right.
right? Which I love because it's not just for that one person. It's can be applicable to all of us, right? And so for
Yes.
me, that's important.
Yes, you're exactly right. And that's why I love also doing the readings in a group because people always take away something that one ancestor may have shared for someone. They can take it and now apply it, and it'll work for them as well. And, our ancestors, as we all come together today, they form kind of a collective. And they are all looking out for our good, and they want to support us, and they want to help us do the things that we want to do in our lives. So when we come together as a group, they're all there ready to share and help and be a part of seeing all of us collectively have joy,
Mm.
happiness, accomplish the things we want, experience the vision that we have for our lives. Yeah.
I love that. So just as we were talking really quickly, I'm just going to quickly check who's here, who's not, so that because we are going to be taking live color questions, and I'm feeling, you know, snarky today. So, all the people who are here now, of course, if you want to raise your hand and ask Dr.MoNique a question, you can. Some of the people who are going to come much later will not have that opportunity. I'm just going to say, no, sorry, we can't take any more questions. It depends on how I feel in that moment. You know how I am. I always like to accommodate everybody. So,
Oh, well, I am happy that everyone that's here is here. As
I
I
agree.
always say, the people that are supposed to be here are here. So we're
Yes,
happy.
absolutely.
we're happy.
So let's talk about manifestation. Of course, it is a big topic, right? It like
Right.
everybody, like we're always manifesting all the time. So it's not like everybody wants to manifest, but we're always manifesting all the time. But sometimes, you know, we would like some of our dreams to also come to fruition as well, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I'd like to even start with a question. So my
Sure.
question, and I'll have you just drop a comment in, have you ever felt like you're doing all the right things? Affirmations, vision boards, journaling, and visioning, but for some reason your manifestations just aren't coming through. Has that ever happened to anybody? I know it's happened to me.
I know it's happened to me, so I'm going to say yes. So type in the chat yes if that's happened to you. If you've done everything, you've done all the affirmations, all the visioning, all the what did we say, journaling, etc. Stated your intention out to the universe,
And
and
it
it
was,
obviously it must be happening for all of them, everybody, because no
oh,
one's
that's
saying no.
good. That's good. That's good. Well, okay, yes, you felt it. Yes. Okay, Barb has felt it. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we've all felt that from time to time that we're doing all of this work, but it just doesn't seem to be happening for us. And, that was me years ago. Years ago, I felt that way. And today, I can honestly say that I'm thriving and I get to work with these incredible clients and help spiritual entrepreneurs align with their purpose, guide people to unlock their ancestral wisdom. But let me tell you, it wasn't always that much joy in my life when it came to the work that I did. And I remember a time when I just felt so stuck, and I'm sure that some of you can relate to that, where you just felt like nothing was really moving forward. And it was really kind of a strange time for me because I had built this life that looked so good on paper, right? The career, the achievements. I was working in my career field that, I graduated with a degree in construction management engineering. And so I was doing all those things. Everything that society told me that I should want, I had. But I was so unfulfilled. I just felt like nothing really felt right to me. But I also knew that there were these spiritual gifts that I had inside of me, but I didn't really know what to do with them. And so it wasn't until I actually was on a trip, on a family history research trip, that it really all kind of came together. And I've told this story before, so some of you may have heard it, but I actually fell in a hole while visiting the plantation that my ancestors were enslaved on. And while normally falling into a hole, you'd probably run, right? You want to get out of it. When I say a hole, I don't mean just my ankle went in a hole. I mean, my entire, all the way up to my knees went into this hole. And that's when I started getting the messages on an even deeper level from my ancestors. And it's like that day that I crawled out of that hole was really kind of crawled out of that stuck feeling. And they started sharing messages with me about how they can support me and they can help me and they can help me move my life forward. And that is when, a lot of this started to shift and to change for me. And one of the things that they kept telling me, and they've continued to tell me, is they've passed to me everything I need to do the work that I've been called to do. Everything I need to do the work I've been called to do has been passed to me down through my family lineage. But what was happening is I was carrying some ancestral blocks. I was carrying some ancestral beliefs that weren't mine that was impacting my ability to move forward. And that's when I really stopped looking kind of outside for all the answers to what would bring me joy. And I started looking within my lineage. I started working with my ancestors and everything just started to change. That's where it really shifted in my life. Now I can honestly say that I didn't jump up and go, okay, I'm going to start helping people with ancestral work. It was a process that I went through, but it absolutely was the day that I knew that I needed to make some changes. I needed to shift. I needed to really rethink what would bring me joy and not base that on what society, everyone told me, oh, you're so good in math, in science, you should major in engineering. Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I went ahead and did what everybody else thought would be good for me. And while I appreciate them and their support, that wasn't really the right direction for me. So I'd like to just really kind of talk first about the different types of ancestors. Would that be okay? Okay. Because I think a lot of times people think that we're only talking about the living relatives, or the ones that we knew, but we're looking at ancestors that go far back. So I'm really talking about the ones that you didn't necessarily know in this lifetime. We knew our grandmothers, possibly our great grandmothers and other family members, but really we're looking at ancestors that are much further back, who hold the wisdom and the medicine that has been passed down from generation to generation, sometimes skipping generations. So there's two types of ancestors. There's the astral ancestors. So the astral ancestors are those family members and loved ones who have passed but haven't yet completed their spiritual evolution. So some of them still carry unresolved energy or pain, and they may need us to help them heal and evolve. So that's when we talk a lot about ancestral healing. Those are the ancestors that we're really focusing on, those that have kind of gotten stuck between worlds in a sense, who need our help, who need our support to actually evolve and become the next layer, which is ascended ancestors. And these are the ancestors that have completed their earthly lessons. They've fully stepped into their divine wisdom. They hold powerful spiritual insights, and they're ready to guide us if we're willing to connect with them. But we have to be willing to connect with them because they don't just bombard us and say, oh, yeah, you're going to follow me. So we have to connect with them. So, what's really fascinating is that we connect with those ascended ancestors for helping us with manifestation. And those ascended ancestors actually have a choice, which is really interesting. They can either remain in the spirit world and offer their wisdom and guidance to those of us who are still here, or they can choose to reincarnate and continue their human experience. So some decide to stay and support us, and they are the ones that know about the specific gifts and insights that we need in order to, really activate that internal wisdom that we have. And they're the ones that know how to support us with that. And then others, they decide to return and complete their soul lessons that require another earthly journey. So think about that. Think about that for a moment. Some of our most powerful spiritual allies are actually our own ancestors that have stayed behind to help you. So what that means is we already have a team of wisdom keepers, healers, divine supporters who really want us to succeed. They stayed behind to be sure that they could help us with that. So when I work with people, I help them start their work with the ascended ancestors. And while I know that we need to clear those blocks and it's important that we do that, there are more ascended ancestors than there are ancestors who need our help with wounding. When we need to work with them, it usually comes from there's some block that's happening. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. So when you learn how to really harness these gifts that these ascended ancestors that are sharing with us, it really helps you with your efforts to manifest the things that you want in your life, the vision that you have for your life. And it's really like, when you start working with them, it's like this hidden treasure chest of wisdom and power and divine support that's right there for you. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about today. We're going to talk about the partnering with your ancestors, but I will talk a little bit about the ancestral blocks that sometimes come up. Some people call them wounds, some people call them trauma. I oftentimes now refer to them as belief systems that are held there. But these are the things that are some of the ancestors in the astral plane are carrying that then sometimes block us from fully being able to connect with the ascended ancestors that want to help us on our path and on our journey. So, partnering with your ancestors is what we'll talk about today. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure we didn't have any questions as we were going along.
Awesome. Thank you. That was great. And thank you for that clarification and just information about the different types of ancestors that we are working with. And, it's interesting to note um, that they are all our family, right? And they are all here supporting us for sure. And even though we may not know them, their energy, their vibration, their frequency is still available for us to connect with and receive support and assistance from.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have to know them. We know that they exist. We know that our parents had parents and their parents had parents and their parents had parents. So we know that these ancestors exist. We don't have to exactly know who they are. And when I do one work with people, I am able to tell them who the ancestors are that are working with them, what their challenges were, what their expertise is, what is the medicine, I call it ancestrally rooted medicine, that is in the lineage that they can support you with. So we are able to get that information, but you don't need that information to start out. A lot of times people will say, well, if I don't work with you, then how am I going to have that information? Working with me helps you to have that information faster. It helps with more clarity, but you can begin your journey right away. And whatever you start doing and the things that I share with you today, you start doing those when we work together, it's even more powerful. So
Mhm.
all of this works together. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And so there was a question in the chat. Can you explain more about stayed behind and moved on? Stayed behind and are where?
Oh, okay. So our ancestors are basically what they keep telling me, they're in the spirit world. They call it the spirit world. They are existing there. And there are those that chose to stay there and support us. And then there's those that felt like they needed to come back because there was more for them to learn. There was more for them to do. So they needed to come back. They had more lessons that they needed to learn that they could only get from being in an earthly experience. So they've come back. So when I say stay behind, those who are in the spirit world, those ancestors who are supporting us and guiding us, and then the ancestors that have decided to come and be a part of this life, are here being a part of this life. And those are not necessarily the ones that we would connect with, obviously. The ones that are in the spirit world are the ones that we're connecting with.
Yep. Makes sense. Yep, absolutely. Thank you. Great question, Kay. All right, so let's talk about manifestation. It's a big topic, and it's always on everybody's mind.
Yes, 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 yes. So what I'll ask you is, so what if your next level of success, it isn't something else that you need to learn, but it's really something that you need to remember, something that needs to be brought to the surface. Because oftentimes we feel like we have to learn more, we have to learn more about manifesting, learn more about manifesting. And there's some great work out there. There's some beautiful work that people are doing on helping people manifest. And for many people, it works. And then for others, they still are sort of struggling. No matter how many classes they've taken, no matter how many things they've done, they've worked with coaches, they've done courses, they've done vision boards, but they don't realize that the answer when things are not working, or if we want to accelerate them, really lie in our bloodline. And your ancestors, honestly, they were manifesting long before The Secret ever took place, right? They were manifesting long before any of us were teaching manifestation courses. They were manifesting things. They were calling in resources. They were calling in love and protection and prosperity. And they were using ancient wisdom that was passed down through generations when they were doing it. And so manifesting is something that we hear a lot about, but what we don't hear about when it's not working is what's happening. We're told, oh, you need to think differently, you need to vision more, you need to meditate more. We're told all these things that we need to do. But really, if we have some things that are happening ancestrally, then it doesn't matter how much visioning you do, you're still going to find that it blocks you. You're still going to find that it's difficult. So the number one mistake, we talked about that. I have that as one of the things that we're going to talk about. So the number one manifestation mistake spiritual seekers make is they have the I can do it all alone idea. And we've been conditioned in many ways to think that manifestation is just this solo game, that I have to write affirmations, that I have to visualize, that I have to feel the vibes, and then boom, abundance just drops in our lap magically. But as I said, if we have the energetic blocks and these blocks are not ours, then we need to do something to work with the ancestors to clear those blocks that may be preventing us from manifesting what we want. So oftentimes we think about the things that we inherit from our ancestors. Well, I can tell you, we've inherited more than just our eye color, grandma's, famous casserole, or in my case, sweet potato pie recipe. We inherit their belief systems, their money patterns, and their energetic imprints. Those are all the things that we inherit, as well as their wisdom, their resilience, and their courage. So, have you ever noticed that in some families, there will be people who seem to have generational wealth, and then there's others that will struggle and they will not be able to just achieve the things they want to achieve? And what's happening is, for some of the family, they may be dealing with these patterns that have been passed down around money, or belief systems about money that are creating the blocks. And so your ancestors influence your manifestations energetically, because if they are carrying these blocks around money, so let's talk about the energetic blocks a little bit. If they're carrying these blocks around money, like if they experience poverty and scarcity, financial instability, maybe they went through famine or the Great Depression, or they experienced war, then they carry oftentimes these money blocks. And when they carry the money blocks, guess what? If we haven't healed them, we carry them too. And that energy, if it's lingering in our lineage, keeps us from being able to manifest in the way that we want, particularly when it comes to money. And then we have ancestors that may have had a fear of visibility. Anybody in the group have a fear of being seen? I think sometimes we don't want to admit it. Oftentimes it's a fear of rejection and that kind of thing. Well, that fear of visibility may be impacting your ability to share your work with people. It may be impacting your ability to manifest clients, because for some reason you are having this fear of being visible. Well, some of that may come from your learned life experiences, but in some cases, and in most cases, it comes from some type of an ancestral experience that took place. So for some people, if you have ancestors in your family lineage that were healers and midwives and spiritual teachers, they may have been persecuted, stoned to death, killed. And so they didn't want to be very visible. I know within my own family, that was the case where, my grandmother was a healer, and most people didn't even know about that. But there were some that did. But even those that did would come through the back door, right? They'd come up through the back door to keep anybody from seeing them actually getting support from grandma, getting energy healing from my grandmother. And so she basically was in hiding. And throughout our lineages, there are times where people had to hide these gifts. In fact, I was speaking to a friend just recently, and she was starting to feel like maybe with some of the things that are happening right now, that she may need to hide a little bit. And we had to really work through that because it wasn't really what was happening now that was creating that fear. It really had a lot to do with her ancestors and the experience that her ancestors had. So as I was communicating with her ancestors and started learning about some of the things that happened to the ones that were very, very spiritually gifted and readers and healers, what we realized is that fear was playing out in her. And we had to do some work around that so that she would feel more comfortable sharing her work. And then there's another one that oftentimes comes up too that is a block. The work hard or you're lazy. Work hard or you're lazy. So if you're working on manifesting, and you're sitting and you're visualizing, but you're getting this message that I'm not doing enough. I need to work. I need to get to work. I need to sit in front of the computer. I need to get these messages out. I need to post on Facebook, right? If you're doing that, then you're impacting your manifestation and your ability to manifest. And part of it is because our ancestors, in many cases, had to survive through hustle and struggle. But that doesn't mean that you have to. That means that they did, and now they know as ascended ancestors how to help you do it differently. But if you're in that feeling that you always have to constantly doing something, then oftentimes that keeps you from being able to be in the moment and really do the work of manifesting that can be fun, but also there are activities that you can do that will help you. And I even see it in some of the elders in my family and some of my friends' parents, where they feel like they have to, they're retired, right? They're retired, they're comfortable, but they have this feeling that they have to get something done every day. There has to be something that they get done. They can't just say, you know what? I'm not doing anything today. That almost has to be a plan. And even then, they'll plan it, but they'll do something so that they feel like they can do it. And that is sort of that hustle and struggle culture that has been passed down from generation to generation in some of our lineages. So, those are some of the blocks. If you found any of those kind of popping up for you, just let us know in the chat. Have you experienced that? Have you experienced some money blocks and some fear of visibility and feel like you always have to be doing something in order for you to create something in your life?
I know for myself, I am one of those that have to work hard. It's ingrained in me to work hard for sure. I'm trying to
Yeah.
change it. I'm changing it though.
Yeah, yeah. And what happens is if we feel like we have to work hard, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, we feel like we have to work hard, then basically as we're working at manifesting something, we are holding this belief that it needs to be hard in order for it to come. So if it comes easily, then we're like, something's wrong here, something's not, I don't trust this, it's not quite right, maybe that person isn't quite right, because we're like, I didn't have to struggle for it, I didn't have to work real hard for it. So it really is, work. And I even sometimes will fall into it now, and then I catch myself and go, okay, you know what? You can actually sit back and let this come and let this happen. Because there is a part of the manifesting where we do need to step back and let some things flow in, and not constantly doing and doing. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let me take a look here. Worthiness was really big. I'm not staying busy. I'm worthy to relax. I like that. Resonate with all this. I always need to be doing something too. Yeah, I felt that way for a long time. Even with my mother, who I absolutely adore. Sometimes she'll say, you know what? All I really want to do today is curl up with a book and read. And I'm like, go ahead and do it. She's like, no, I have a lot of stuff to get done. I'm like, lady, you're retired. You can get it done tomorrow. You don't need to get it done today. And
Yeah.
So sometimes she'll still go, well, I'll just go ahead and get this done. And sometimes she's like, yeah, thanks for that. I'll go ahead and just do what I want to do. I'm like, hey, that's part of retirement. You worked. If you want to, you've gotten up and you've done your exercise, because that's the important, but she does her little workout and she can sit and read all day if she wants to. Yeah.
My mom's the same way. She always has to be doing something, and I always tell her, so, well, you don't have to do that. You could just leave it for the day. No, no, I just have to. I have to get this done. Okay, fine. I don't argue. It's like, okay, so, you can see where I get it from, because I always like, yeah, I just have to do one more quick little thing. I just have to finish this one thing. Let me just do this thing first.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. I get it. I remember my grandmother on my mother's side would have stacks of newspapers, and she would say, I need to catch up on my newspapers. Now, in my opinion, after about 2 or 3 days, that's old news. But it
Exactly.
was like, I need to catch up on my newspapers. And she would say, I can't do anything else today because I need to catch up on my newspapers. But she would want to do something else. Or you would say, hey, you know what, let's go do this, something that she enjoyed, or go out and have dinner or something like that. And she's like, no, no, I'm going to catch up on my newspapers. So, but she always was one that felt like she had to be doing something. And so I saw where my mother got it from. She got it from her mother, and I'm sure my grandmother got it from members of her family. Her mother died when she was about 4 years old, so she didn't get it from her mother, but she probably got it from her father and her grandparents and the other adults in her life. So I get it. So let's talk a little bit about how to start clearing these blocks. Now, I do work with people, as I mentioned, to help them clear the blocks, but there's things that you can do to start to clear these blocks now. So acknowledge them. That's the first thing. Just acknowledge that they exist, that they're there. And don't question whether or not, is it coming from my ancestors? Is it me? But if it's something that has been happening repeatedly, if you continuously feel like you have to struggle and work hard, or not even struggle, but you just have to work hard in order for you to have the things you want to have. If you feel like you have some issues around money, some challenges around money, thoughts around money, and a poor relationship with money, then oftentimes that's a part of your lineage, as we mentioned. So just acknowledge that they exist. And you can say something like, this belief is in my lineage, but I choose to release it. This belief is in my lineage, but I choose to release it. Simple statements like that. The other thing that you can do, gratitude. We hear this all the time, how important gratitude is. But gratitude, when it comes to your ancestors, is extremely powerful. Thank your ancestors for their survival, but then let them know you're ready to thrive. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you for all that you had to go through and endure in order for me to be here now. Let's work together so that I can thrive. I'm ready. Simple. And then the third one is call in a new pattern. Call in something new. I am the abundance my ancestors prayed for. I am the abundance that my ancestors prayed for. And just call in a new pattern. So those are 3 things that you can do right away to start to clear out these blocks. Which one will you try? You may
Those
not be
are
ready to do
powerful
all
statements. Sorry, those are powerful statements. I like the last one. I should have written it down. I am the abundance that my ancestors prayed for.
Yeah. I am the abundance that my ancestors prayed for. That's one that I'm actually seeing it, because I keep it all around my office. So let me post it here.
Yes, please. Thank you. If you could put it in the chat, that'd be great. I am the abundance my ancestors prayed for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's a big one. What were the other 2 that you all liked so much? If you want to type in the chat, which one? The first one, second one, and that was the third one.
Yeah. Here, I'll put those in too, because I keep those around me as well. All of them. I make sure
And
I
this
have
is
them
about,
with me.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just posting them in. I said I make sure that I have them.
Yeah. This belief is in my lineage. So if you recognize a belief that's limiting, then, that's the one you want to use this one on. This belief is in my lineage, but I choose to release it
Mhm.
so that it's not part of your reality anymore. Right.
Right.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you.
Here's the other one, and I shortened it so that it's a little easier, but you can, kind of make them your own.
Mm. Thank your ancestors for their survival, but let them know you're ready to thrive. Yes, beyond thriving. And it's so funny, right? Like I know like on one side of my family, they were not rich at all, but on the other side of the family, they are. Like, uh, it's like I'm stuck in the middle, stuck in the middle.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you are probably, the more work that you're doing are probably leaning more towards the ancestors and being guided more from the ancestors that want to help you experience, prosperity. They want to help
yeah,
you thrive in that way. And the other ancestors, as you are doing it, you're helping them see where they can step in as well. Because we can actually get support from the ancestors who were rich, and we can get help from the ancestors who weren't rich or didn't have a lot of money or a lot of assets. We can get help from both, because those that did can help us with how they acquired it, how they did it, what different things we need to do. Those that didn't have it can give us help to show us what not to do, right?
hmm
They're guiding us
yeah,
and what doesn't work, right? What we may need to do different than what they did in order to experience prosperity. So they're both very powerful. Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk
Um,
about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, 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 nothing. It's okay. Go ahead.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about your ancestors supporting you,
Yeah.
even if you've never connected with them. Because a lot of times people are like, well, I haven't connected with them. How do I know they're supporting me? They're already showing up, just like you're always manifesting, whether it's what you want or don't want, you're always manifesting. They're already showing up for you. And maybe you're not noticing it, but they're already there. They've been with you and you may not really recognize the signs. For example, have you ever like smelled grandma's perfume if you knew your grandmother, or you smelled something that maybe one of your ancestors used to cook that you were close to, or maybe a song that someone in your family loved just kind of suddenly starts to play on the radio and you get some thoughts in your head? Well, that's them checking in. And for me, with my father, he unfortunately was a smoker when he was younger, and then he quit for a number of years. And then about the last 3 years of his life, he started smoking again. And while I absolutely detest the smell of smoke, I do not like the smell of smoke. He smoked, and we would have these, conversations about him smoking. And occasionally I'll start to smell smoke. And it used to, it would happen like sometimes in the middle of the night. Sometimes it would happen when I was just kind of sitting and I walk around, I'm like, where's that smoke coming from? Where's it coming from? And it finally hit me when, after I did all kinds of looking several times for where this smoke was coming from, and it was coming from nowhere. There was no smoke anywhere. It finally hit me that was my dad getting my attention. And I started, anytime that happens, I start to lean in. And when I start to lean in and listen, I get really great messages from him about things that will really support me and help me. I've experienced a lot of loss in my life in the last year and a half. Eight, almost eight, well, 8 people, let's see, 7 people. in my family and my friends circle have passed away. And I was really struggling with each one of those, and the smoke came up. And I leaned in and I just asked my father before I went to bed if he had any guidance for me, any support for me. And he really helped me to really process my feelings and what was happening and how to best support the people who were most impacted by the loss, the sons and daughters of the people that I had lost. So it was really helpful. And so that's one of the ways you can actually communicate with your ancestors. But I'll share with you a few more through your dreams. That's one that I always love. If your ancestors keep popping up in your dreams, they have a message for you. If you want them to pop up in your dreams, ask them. Ask them to come through, ask them to help you. If you have like symbols or synchronicity, let's say you're in the grocery store and you see something and it brings something up for you, maybe you've been really wanting to know which direction to go in, or you have a big decision that you're trying to make and you're walking in the store and you see this sign or this symbol. It may not have anything to do with what you're dealing with, but there's something about it that triggers you and helps you come up with a solution. Maybe you see feathers all the time, or maybe there's coins that you see on the ground all the time, or animals show up, or, for some people, it can be numbers. And those are signs and symbols that your ancestors can be sending you, and your spirit guides. And, we all know that they communicate in that way oftentimes too. And then sometimes you get these gut feelings or these like intuitive nudges, that inner knowing that's guiding you. And oftentimes that's ancestral wisdom. And sometimes it may even be as loud as go left and not right. And you won't know why, but you just go ahead and do it. So your ancestors can communicate with you through your intuition as well. So has anybody been communicating with their ancestors? And if you have, how is that showing up for you? A friend painted my grandmother as an angel for me several years ago. Ah, she said grandmother came to her to do this. That's beautiful. You smelled your grandmother's perfume. You love the affirmations. Great. I'm glad you find them helpful. Have you had any contact with your ancestors? And oftentimes our ancestors that have more recently crossed over, I hear stories all the time about how those ancestors came to them in the room. They were, yeah, only in your dreams. I smell cigarette smoke from your mom. Yep. So you know what I'm experiencing. Yeah, you'll find that oftentimes when people more recently crossed over, they will show up in your bedroom while you're sleeping. They'll show up in your dreams, or you'll feel their presence. The names came up in a crossword puzzle. The grandmother helped me during near-death experience. Yeah, these are all beautiful times that the ancestors can come up. We often think that we have to sit and meditate and, you know, connect with them that way, but there's other ways that they connect with us. And these are things that we can start doing right away. You don't necessarily have to know how to channel your ancestors for this information. Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing that. So my aunt who recently died came to me in a dream the night before to say goodbye to me. Yes, that definitely happens. Yeah, that can definitely happen. I've worked with a lot of people who have transitioned. Most recently, my uncle, a few weeks ago. And when I walked in, I could feel the energy of the ancestors surrounding him. And there was a message that one of the ancestors shared while we were in the room and shared with me. And as they were sharing the message, my uncle's eyes, now he had been pretty much, unable to communicate. He wasn't conscious. He opened his eyes and he smiled and he giggled because what the ancestor was saying was something that was funny.
Mm.
And I thought, interesting. He's connecting. And I knew that, they were saying he had probably another month or two. And I'm thinking, nah, this is about it. And that night he actually passed. So he was seeing those ancestors come. So it's common for ancestors to show up when a person is transitioning. Yeah, beautiful.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, I'm so sorry that you've been going through so much loss, the past year and a half you were saying, and it's never easy, right? But at least for you, you have this connection with your ancestors, with your family members who, you know, may have passed recently, etc. But it can be very reassuring for you because you know that you will talk to them again.
Yeah, it does help. It is reassuring that I know. Of course, I'm still a physical body, so I miss their physical existence, but I do love that I can communicate with them and have a relationship with them still. And so that is powerful. And thank you for that. Yes, it has been a very challenging time because some of these were very young people, some of them were older, and so it's had an impact. It's had an impact on my entire family. And my altar has gotten bigger.
Hmm.
It has
Yeah.
gotten much bigger. And but I'm grateful for those relationships and the connections that we had. I'm grateful that I was able to be there with my uncle as he transitioned, as I was also there with my dad when he transitioned. And so that experience creates a deeper connection as well. And
Hmm.
it creates a deeper connection with the ancestors. And I was there with my aunt, not quite when she transitioned, but I was there up until she started her transition. So it is a different experience, and having this connection and being able to communicate with your ancestors does help you with some of the grief that you experience. And that's another reason why I encourage people to have that relationship with their ancestors so that you can continue the relationship with them.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you feel a strong spirit in your heart, feeling in your heart when a parent or their ancestor spirit is nearby. Yes. Yeah. Your dad was calling you, but you couldn't connect. Okay. That happens. Your aunt came to you in a dream the night before to say goodbye. Yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes your ancestors may not connect with you right away. But just know, call them in, ask them for support, and really have no expectation. Because if you're just starting to connect, it may not always be very easy to do. The other thing is sometimes if that ancestor hasn't been in the spirit world very long, then it can sometimes be a little bit harder. I find that when we go back multiple generations, it's a lot easier to make those connections. But when they're more recently passed, then it's a little bit harder. But they are hearing you, they are listening to you, they know that you're calling on them. And you may not hear this booming voice, you may not really get this dream, but just notice your body sensations, notice what thoughts are coming up for you, notice what you're wanting to listen to. The other thing, if you want to connect, you can also create an altar in honor of that person. Now, my altars, I have an altar in honor of my dad. I have an altar that's behind me that's in honor of my grandmothers, but I also have like a collective altar in my home that is all of the ancestors. You can create an altar if you have a specific ancestor you want to connect with. And that ancestor can be a bloodline, but it can also be an ancestor in history that you really admire. If you want to write a book and somebody has written a book that you just love and they're an ancestor, you can connect with them. Place the book on an altar with a candle, a glass of water, or tea. If you have photos, place photos, and you can connect with your ancestors that way. So for some people, they find that that is a really powerful place to connect. Create your altar, write a message to the ancestor, place it on the altar, and then just allow it to happen the way it happens. Just like we have relationships with humans, and we can't control necessarily all of the aspects of that relationship. It's the same thing when we're working with our ancestors. You can't control all of the ways in which they communicate and connect with you, but you can build some agreements and you can ask them to be there. You can say, I'm open to you coming into my dreams. I'm open to you sharing through a song. I'm open to you sharing through dance. Oftentimes when I'm working with my clients, the ancestors will tell me what are some of the things that this person can do to open the connections. It could be dance, it could be some type of cooking, it might be writing, it might be drumming, it might be humming. I mean, there's so many ways that that connection can be opened, but you can start that connection just by having a conversation and just sharing with them that you want to open. Yeah. So the last thing, manifestation, we've talked a lot about that. Traditional manifestation leaves out one big thing: ancestral support. Leaves it out. People don't ever talk about it. They don't talk about how we can make manifesting easier by connecting with the ancestors. They know the path, they know the problems, they know the experience. They've lived these earthly lives more recently, so they know what we're experiencing on earth. They know how to guide us and to support us. They know what the medicine is, because I didn't talk a lot about this, but all of us have a rich, ancestrally rooted medicine in our family lineage that when we embrace it, activate it, and embody it, it can help us with the work that we do. Whether it's your career or your business, it can help us with the work that we do. And so your ancestors have that information. They know what that medicine is. And for some people, it's been passed from parent to parent to parent to parent. And for others, that information skipped generations. And so you may not, your mother and your grandmother may not even know about the medicine because for some reason they weren't utilizing it. And you may need to connect with ancestors further back to know what that medicine is. And there's medicine, we have 4 medicine lines. And those medicine lines are your grandparents on both sides of your family. And through those lines, we can determine what is that medicine. And I've had a number of clients where once we determine that medicine, that lack of clarity about their work just clears up. They've been able to create their own unique healing systems that they've used with their clients. They've been able to manifest large sums of money to do things that they want to do, because that's one of the things with, you know, the work that I do with my clients around manifesting is we really think about why is it that you want to manifest? How is this going to help humanity? How is this going to improve the lives of you, your family, and the broader community? What is this going to do? And when they're clear about this medicine, then it opens up the opportunity to create even more for themselves and for the people around them. So that's what I'm saying. When we leave out this piece of ancestral support, then we're not getting to fully utilize these manifestation techniques that we have learned over the years, right? And so most manifestation techniques and practices focus on your energy alone, just you doing the work. But when you align your manifestations with your ancestral wisdom, things move fast. They move a lot faster when you have that alignment. So there's 3 things that I consider to be like the formula for doing this. Gratitude is number 1. Acknowledge your ancestors, thank them for their support and wisdom. Create an altar and write a thank you note. I one of the things I start people out with is to write a couple of sentences of gratitude every morning to their ancestors and pop it on the altar. And I have them create their gratitude box and put that on the altar and just pop those into the box. So acknowledging them and thanking them for their support and wisdom, even if you're not feeling it yet, you're thanking them. And then create a simple practice. Pour a glass of water for them, light a candle, say a morning prayer, place your gratitudes that you've written on the altar. Easy, something that you can do right away. You don't have to build a big altar. It doesn't need to take up your whole house. It can be something that's just in the corner, can be on the shelf, doesn't have to be anything big. And then just take inspired action. When your ancestors open up a door, it's time to walk through. When the opportunity comes, be prepared to step through it. And when that opportunity comes, you won't have to hustle your way through it. You won't have to struggle your way through it. You'll be able to just walk through it. And you'll find that it will shift everything by doing that, by working with your ancestors. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really simple, right? It doesn't, we don't need to complicate things. It can be really, really simple, which I love. So thank you for that. Um, now I can't believe we're an hour has gone. It's like, oh my God, we just started. But I wanted to take a few minutes, talk about your package, and then we want to do some mini readings like we always do, because everybody always wants to connect with their ancestors, or they have questions about, specifically about connecting with their ancestors. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick. Give me 1 second. And I know people have already raised their hands, which is great. Let me just, okay, so this package, MoNique's package, is the Ancestrally Rooted Manifestation. So the package is one package. It has two parts to it. So I'm going to let you go ahead and explain, MoNique.
Yeah. So now that we've talked about how to work with your ancestors for manifestation, let's take a deeper dive. And I've talked to you about how working one-on-one, I'm able to connect with the ancestors and give you messages that come directly from them. And that's what this is all about. And it is a 90-minute private session with me called Ancestrally Rooted Manifestation Breakthrough. And what we're doing in there is we're going to identify the ancestral block, the biggest block that's been keeping you stuck and keeping you from manifesting the way you want to manifest. And then we're also going to connect with an ancestor who's ready to guide you, who's ready to help you move forward. One ancestor. And you'll know a lot about that ancestor. You'll find out how to connect with them, what they want you to do, and the ways in which they can help you. So we'll uncover the ancestral block affecting your manifestation. We'll meet the specific ancestor. You'll receive personalized guidance on how to work with this ancestor for prosperity, clarity, and success. You'll learn a simple yet powerful clearing ritual to start dissolving the ancestral block right away. So I'm not just going to tell you what the block is. I'm going to give you the things that you need to start clearing that block, and we'll do some clearing on the call. And you'll walk away with a direct connection to your ancestors. You'll walk away with clarity on your next steps and a confidence to manifest with ease.
Awesome. And it comes with a bonus course
It does.
as well.
So oftentimes people, one of the main blocks that people experience when it comes to ancestral healing is poverty wounds at the ancestors, lack, and things like that. So I'm going to include the digital program Healing Your Poverty Wounds. So you'll have a chance to go through that as well. That will help you if there are some things. And when we talk about poverty, let me make it clear. It doesn't necessarily mean that your family didn't have money, but there could have been a lack of love. There could be a lack of support, a lack of opportunity, a lack of resources. When we're talking about poverty, we're really looking at lack. So that's where this program is really helpful, because it's not just about money. It's about any area in your life where there's lack. And you'll be able to go through that on your own and experience that program as well. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah, anything else you want me to say about that?
No, I think that's good. There's some wonderful testimonials as well from people who have worked with MoNique as well, and so check those out. Yeah, a powerful program. So it's not just going to she's not just going to tell you what the block is, but you'll actually work on releasing it and connecting with one of your ancestors to who is here to support you. And I know so many people are always searching for that, searching for, who is my guide, who is my ancestor, who is my angel that's working with me right now. So this is a great, valuable resource for you to receive that information and guidance, as well as the digital course of healing that ancestral poverty uh, belief block pattern in your field, right? And poverty meaning lack in all areas, not just money. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no, go ahead. No.
What I wanted to add in there is the clearing of the ancestral wounds around poverty and any of the other ones is something that you can do, on your own. There's something that you can do, in a group. But the work that I do with you, the reason why this is in a group, the work that I do with you on connecting with your ancestors to have this manifestation breakthrough is specifically for you. It is directly with your ancestors. This is a one-on-one. While I love group programs and digital programs, I think they're great. But when it comes to this work, it really requires that one-on-one. And that's why I'm offering this. Normally, I don't offer single sessions. Usually it's a part of the bigger program. And normally they cost a whole lot more than we're charging here. But I really want as many people as possible to really, particularly now, this is a great time to start connecting with the ancestors, manifesting, shifting some of the things that are happening. The ancestresses, which I didn't mention as much about, the ancestresses, those are the women in our lineage, are rising and ready to support us and help us. And they just need us to be open to receiving their support to take us into the next phase of our lives and to shift and change some things that are happening that are not necessarily the best things for the world to experience. So that is the purpose of the one-on-one. And I look forward to working with you and supporting you with having this information and to opening up this opportunity for you to connect with the ancestor that is most ready to guide you and support you right now.
I love that. And I love personal one-on-one sessions myself because I just find I receive the information, the guidance, the healing, whatever it is that I specifically need in that moment. So I am all about the one-on-one sessions. Um, because courses, let's face it, how many courses have we bought that are just sitting there and we haven't done anything?
I
Sad to
have
say, I
way
have
too many of them,
same here. I have way too many. That's like, oh my God.
but
But
I
one-on-one
don't have
sessions,
any sessions that I've purchased. I don't have any one-on-one sessions that I've purchased that I haven't used.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, awesome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so we're going to take a few questions, or you can do some mini readings for folks. So we already have a lot of folks with their hands raised, which is great. So we're going to start off with Tina. Tina, you want to unmute?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
And before we start, just so you know, I'm not able to give you the deeper messages that you would get in the 90 minutes, but I will try to give you as much information as I can. Please be as specific as possible. So a question like, what do my ancestors want me to know, is not really, I mean, it takes a little bit longer. So if you have a specific question, let's go to your specific question. So Tina, let's go.
Oh, well, when I first started my wake up journey, I heard loud and clear to, ancestry, look into your ancestry. So I went looking into the, ancestry on ancestry.com, and, I found out amazing things, but I feel it's so much deeper. Like there's such a, and sometimes I think, is it because the variety of from like Indian, like I have Cherokee, and then I have a grandmother that was hung for being a witch, and then I have the ancestors that were the first to come to America, like the variety. And I'm like, I always tell them, like, ancestors, let's all get along, let's all love each other. But I don't know, is there any message from them? Because I really feel like it's deeper.
Yeah. Well, I love that you started doing the family history research. That is so important. In fact, the book that is over here, over there we go. That is our family history book. And I keep that book there because anytime I'm feeling like I need to have a connection, I open it up and in there's a story about my
Yeah.
ancestors, and I read their story and I feel the connection. And it just so happens that every time I just randomly open the book, that's the one that I need to hear today. That's the one I need to connect with. So having that information is very helpful. And ancestry.com is the beginning of you being able to identify where your ancestors may have originated from. And so
It made me feel more powerful. It made
right,
me feel like, how can I be upset about anything? Look what they've going through. Look how powerful, the things that they manifested and the things they did. Like, wow. So it really did lift my spirits back then when I was doing it. So go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. So you have an ancestor on your father's mother's side that is wanting you to take your learning a little bit deeper with uncovering your family history.
Wow.
And this ancestor is saying that as you do it, you'll feel more and more empowered. And you just said that that's really what it did for you. And so these ancestors are saying, on both sides of your family, actually, they're saying that there is collective wisdom that you can uncover through discovering your ancestors. So if you have any elders that are in your family that are still living, now's the time to have conversations with them. Find
Yeah,
out
I
about
don't. So
their, pardon?
don't. So this is why I have to do it this way. Yeah.
Yeah. Contact them and ask them about their parents and their aunts and uncles and siblings. Contact them and have these conversations. And I tell you, by the time that book was published after 10 years of research, most of the people who gave stories were no longer alive. So it's
Right.
very important that we start collecting those as soon as we can. But they're saying that there is a message in the stories that will support you with where you're moving towards in your life and help you uncover some things. And they're saying that it's a gift that you would be giving to your entire lineage by doing that work. But you're being called to uncover those stories. And some of them are going to be stories that are so powerful, and some of them are going to be filled with some pain,
Yeah,
right?
I've found a lot of them already. Yeah, like that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is, where you're being guided, you're being the one called to do this. I really believe that my mother and my aunt, when they started on this journey, they were called to do this work. There were a number of things that took place that guided them to do it. And your ancestors are calling you to do this work. They're encouraging you to do this work. So that is
Yeah,
a project.
I had stopped doing it, so I think I needed to hear this because I was so it really made my heart sing, and I actually would do it for other people. Like I do their ancestry just because it made my heart sing to listen, their stories. So yeah, maybe this is just what I needed to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. All right, we're going to go to Paula. Paula, you want to unmute?
Hi,
Thanks.
Paula.
Okay, so of course I unmuted, which brought the dogs up. I'm so sorry. This is all really brand new to me. Didn't have any inkling about ancestors, so I feel like a great grandma is stepping forward.
Mm. So you have what I call an ancestress who is the grandmother energy. 4 generations. Well, you have a collective of them. 4, 5, and 6 generations of women who are ready to uplift you, who are ready to support you, who they were teachers. There's some midwives in the group. And then there were those that they were like the planners. They planned family events, they planned the parties, they planned the social outings. And they're all stepping forward and helping you and want to work with you to create something different for yourself and for your family. And they have been somewhat, like they're saying, knocking on the door to connect with you for a while. So here's one of the things that they're saying that would be nice for you is to prepare a family dish, something that has been passed down in your family, or something that you have perfected that is sort of yours that everybody likes. Prepare that and then offer bite-sized amounts for 3 grandmothers and place a cup of tea by them and then just welcome them into your life. Welcome them into your life and ask them what messages do they have for you and what do they want to share with you. Because these ancestors, these women, are ready to empower you with something that is very new, different, and what kind of work do you do? Or are you retired or?
Retired, spiritually, I do a few readings and channelings, just minimal.
Okay. So they're going to support you with making that work even more powerful than it has been.
Wow, thank you.
So you can have your, you have your meal with them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. What
You're welcome.
wonderful information. Ooh.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you,
You
Paula.
being here.
All right. Hold on one second. So, guys, definitely have a specific question in mind. Okay. So, we're going to go to Cindy. Cindy, you want to unmute? And what is your question?
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Dr. Monique, and hi, Shefali. Thank you so much
Hi.
for calling on me. I recently had 2 aunts that passed away within 2 months of each other, and thank you. I have a history of medicine women from my mother's side of family lineage. Just wondering if my ancestors have anything to share with me to further my healing gifts, to contribute to furthering any of my gifts.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's
And I
always,
feel like my 2 aunts are probably going to be my spirit guide angels now guiding me too.
yeah,
I know that
absolutely.
they are.
Yeah. And know that there's always, there are always ancestors guiding you, but there's some that come through, at different times, at different phases that you're on. There is in your family lineage, there's like this collective of ancestors that is led by women who did this medicine work, but they weren't allowed to do the medicine work. And what happens is if you have any kind of hesitation about it, then they begin to protect you. And if it's something that you want to do and it's something you want to bring forward, but you're not sure how, just let them know that you're open to hearing more about what they want to do and how they want to support you. But they're ready for this work to come into this time. And they have been giving you messages for a while. And what happens now is these aunties that transitioned, it may take, let me just ask, 6 months to a year for them to actually start connecting with you. But they are sort of the bridge between you and this collective medicine wisdom that is in your lineage. And the medicine appears to be something around, definitely around energy work. And I don't know if you do work with younger women, but there's something about you being a wise guide for women who are slightly younger than you are, that need your wisdom, that need your guidance.
That just gave me chills. Yes, that's all of this is true. I have been giving guidance to my friend's daughter who was younger, who needs a lot of guidance right now. So yes, I just have goosebumps all over. This is amazing
Yeah,
to know that they're
they
there.
are, yeah, and they were younger. Some of them were younger when they transitioned, some of them were older, but they've really been there to support each other. Like the younger ones were receiving the support from these elder women when they were physically in, human form, and it has continued in the spiritual form. And so now you are the beneficiary of all of that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that
You're wel-
validation. I love the messages that came through. Thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
I've taken many workshops with you, and this one sounds like one of the best ones you have coming up.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Yes, many blessings. Thank you.
Blessings to you too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Cindy. All right, we're going to go to Teresa. You want to unmute? And what is your question?
Hi, thank you.
Hi, Teresa.
I'm organizing an event next Friday, and there's only one person who registered. And of course, I need the money, I need a job. So the question for my ancestors would be to please tell me whatever I need to see or to understand in order to succeed in my job.
Okay. So a lot of times when we have this need for money, that creates a little bit of a block. And while I understand it, we all need money to survive. And when it's not flowing the way we want it to flow, then that can really create a hardship. So here's what I would suggest, and I'm getting some feedback for them. Look at your work that you're going to be doing, the workshop, and begin to see the message that you're sending about the work, connecting with the hearts of the people that are supposed to receive this work. And ask the ancestor to give your message wings to connect the work with the right people. And to start to focus on, instead of focusing on the money part, which I know, is difficult when you're needing to make money, but just back out of the money part for just a moment and start to focus on seeing the people showing up and receiving the work and the messages and the healing or whatever it is that you're doing with them, really focusing on them receiving the work and not as much on them paying for it, but more on them receiving it. And then asking your ancestors to connect with their ancestors to bring them closer into you and to help them be able to see what it is that you are creating. So that's something that you can start to do right away to shift things a little bit. Let me ask. The biggest thing that they're saying is really work on disconnecting the people from the money. And I know that I'm, you know, I'm not saying that that's the easiest thing to do, but in order for you to really bring in the people, sometimes we have to not associate people in the class with our income, but really take some time, and they're throwing so many things at me at once. So take some time to just really see the people. Visualize the people being there. Visualize the people showing up, and focus on that a little bit, as opposed to focusing on the fact that people have not signed up, or the money's not quite there, or I need certain amount of people in order to have the money.
Mm.
And they're saying that you're not necessarily a person who's money focused, but when we have an absence of it, sometimes we are money focused, consciously or unconsciously, because there's an absence of it. And what they're telling me is that you are moving in the right direction with your work, but now, instead of seeing it as a way to make money, see it as a way to change lives. And oh, by the way, I also get to make money at it, right? So it's not the money, it's the changing lives, it's the helping people. Really keep your focus there, and then allow the money to just kind of flow from there. Does that make sense? I mean, I know it's kind of all over the place, but it's really what they're kind of throwing different things. But they do say that you're on the right track.
Beautiful. Thank you. This morning on my meditation, I felt the same. So it's a beautiful confirmation right now. Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely, you know, think about, and you can even think about an ancestor. And I would say, great grandmother on my father's mother's side. I want to connect with you. Please shine a light on my work. Please help my work reach the hearts and the minds of the people who most need it. Please use me as a way to help these people with whatever it is that you're helping them with. And I definitely want to be of service. And in order to be of service, I need to have these people in my work, right? So just really talk to the ancestors and let them know that you would like their help bringing people into your work.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you,
Teresa.
Teresa.
Thank you for being here.
And of course, that was beneficial and helpful for all of us who work with clients, community, etc. Right?
Yep.
So yes,
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you. All right, Susanna, you have a question for MoNique? Oh, because she's written it in the chat.
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking this night about my mom and my door opened by itself. My mom is gone for 14 years and we had a very special relationship, almost telepathic. She was a medium and healer, and my sister and I feel like we are too, but I have a lot of difficulty connecting with her. Is there another ancestor to contact?
Okay. Let's see. So just so you know, you've been connecting with her. She is, and she's connecting with you, but it's interesting because she doesn't want the connection to be a dependent one. That makes sense. She wants the connection to be in a way that is a mutual relationship, and she doesn't want you to depend on that connection. So she is connecting, and she is there, and she is supporting you. She has a great aunt on her mother's side who is also supporting you and helping you. And she says that you can connect with her. And she's not giving me a name because she said names are not important right now. but she's saying that you can connect with her and the two of them together will work with you. But there is definitely, and you were saying she was your caretaker. Yeah. So that might be why she's not wanting to do that dependence type thing with you. She's wanting you to still be independent. So as you're connecting with her, let her know that you're interested in the relationship and the messages and the support and the guidance that she has for you, and that you're not looking for her to be your caretaker, but you're really looking for her to be a source of guidance and support and to work together, you know, to collaborate in terms of support. But she actually is looking out for you and supporting you. She said if you have different care needs or things like that, she and this aunt, you can talk to them and say, you know what, this is what I'm needing, or I'm needing this type of support. Can you help me? And you'll find that they will be able to support you and help you in an even deeper way than they already have been. Because they're already helping you and they're already working with you, but it'll go even deeper. Yeah. Beautiful.
Does that
I
help, Susanna? Is that good, Susanna? Yeah. Okay.
and what's
Awesome.
really beautiful is that you and your sister um, are feeling like you're connecting with her in a way. And the fact that she was telepathic and was a healer and a medium means that she's connecting with you. It's just she's doing it gradually so that there isn't a dependence. Because she said that you have a lot about you that's very independent. And she wants you to continue to hold on to that. She wants you to continue to have your independence and be a free thinker and not be so dependent on her. So over time, it will happen even deeper.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Susanna. Is it Susanna? Yeah.
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 Awesome. Thank you, Susanna. All right, we're just going to take a few more quick questions. We're going to go to Bless. You're going to unmute?
Greetings, greetings. It's funny because literally, as you were talking to Susanna, someone came in and sat on the bed next to me, like they want to hear the answer to this question as well. And I have no clue who it is, but I feel very safe. But I can smell blossoms, which I think ties in with my question actually. My dad was born and died in Barbados, but his heritage was very mixed. I've been getting lots of downloads and information recently about an Oriental line of the family that I don't know, but my dad and one of my brothers that passed a few years ago did have very Oriental looks about them. And I feel like this lineage is now opening up to me. So I was wondering why they're there to support me, or is there healing that I need to do in order to support them?
Ah, beautiful. Okay. Have you done any of DNA testing to kind of get a feel for what that may be?
No, I don't trust them, to be honest. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I
willing
know
to
a
give
lot
them
of
my
people don't.
blood.
Yeah, no, I got you. A lot of people don't. Um, okay, let's connect in. One of the things that one of your ancestors studied with, and first they're saying Asian medicine man, but let me see if it's more specific. Was a Chinese medicine man that passed a lot of wisdom down to this ancestor to share it with his people so that this medicine would be carried to other places. And so some of what you're experiencing is the free flow of that medicine that somewhere around the fourth or fifth generation got blocked. It wasn't necessarily accepted. It got blocked. Some of it was because people didn't quite believe in it, because there was a situation where you had an ancestor that utilized this medicine in a situation and it actually didn't work. But what we know is, there's free will too, right? So it doesn't always turn out the way we want it to turn out. But of course that wasn't the understanding. And so the medicine basically didn't get passed, and it is now opened up for you to embrace this. And I don't know if you have an interest in Chinese medicine, but there's something there for you to study, to learn a little bit about, and not from the standpoint where you go learn it and then you do it exactly, but it's more about you just tapping into what your ancestors tapped into, because it's not like you're going to go study Chinese medicine and then offer Chinese medicine. It's more you're tapping into the energy of the medicine and combining it with the work that you are already doing. And so it's almost like the work collaborates with each other is the word that they're giving me, but the work complements each other, but you're turning it into something that is uniquely yours. So it's something that's very unique to you, that is a combination of the two. You don't necessarily need to take classes or anything like that, they said. It's more you going into meditation and asking for the guidance on this medicine. It is maybe doing a little bit of research about the different types of Chinese medicine that resonates with you, that makes, just kind of lights your soul. And when you do that, you trigger something within you, because in addition to the Chinese medicine and the work that this ancestor studied with this person, there is a medicine in your lineage that is a healing medicine. And so when you begin to study and learn more about or research more about Chinese medicine, it actually opens you up to receiving the guidance and the information about what is uniquely in your lineage around ancestral, your ancestral medicine. Does that make sense?
It's really interesting actually that you said China, because I was getting a lot of influence from Japan. But as you were speaking, I got that maybe the ancestor that studied under the Chinese person was Japanese.
That could be possible. It's not coming through one way or the other on that. And really what your
Yeah,
ancestors are ultimately saying is the culture, the ethnicity, the nationality isn't as important for you as you embodying this work, right? This
okay.
medicine that's coming through is, and they're saying it's great that you're acknowledging, the different ways you're feeling it, but ultimately you like are a walking ball of fiery medicine that you just, you're on the verge of bringing this forward. And there are some ancestors that are in place and ready to help you bring this forward. So
Wow.
just, asking for guidance around what this is, that already goes with some things that you're already doing.
I'm so grateful for that information. Thank you. There's a lot of confirmation as well as added information in that. So Much gratitude. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Awesome. Thank you, Bless. All right, we're gonna go to Kathy. Hold on. Kathy, you want to unmute? Beth, Bless, I can't. Oh, there you go. I couldn't. I don't know what's going on there. Go ahead, Kathy.
Hi, good to
Hi,
see you
Kathy.
again. Oh, I left my question. Anyway, I ran into the other room. My question was, what ancestor will assist me in finding my more mystical self?
Hmm.
So that actually is a deeper question
Okay.
that we would work with, that's something that we would uncover in a session. But let me just say that there are, in your family lineage, there are a number of what you were saying, mystical women. And what they're showing me is like this collective of women who are in a circle surrounding you, blessing you with all of this wisdom and knowledge, and encouraging you to really step into who you are and who you want to be, and to learn as much as you can from different teachers. And as you are learning from different teachers, it is opening you to your gifts and the messages that they have to work through you. But it's when you're doing, like, when you go into meditation and then ask them to surround you and keep practicing that on a regular basis. And as you do that, they will begin to show up more and more and more. And they're beautiful. I mean, they're flowy and very feminine, gentle, nurturing ancestresses that want you. Well, one of the messages from one of them is they want you to be more nurturing of yourself, to take care of yourself more, and that it is okay for you to be a little selfish, and that self-care is really important. Not because there's anything wrong, but they want you to give yourself permission to take care of yourself and not always put everybody else ahead of you. So I don't know if you're doing that, but that's their message to you. That
That's
it is
right on
okay.
the nose.
Yeah. So what they're saying is, when you're in a situation where there are people who need you and who are constantly needing to pull from you, put them in the middle of the circle. Close your eyes and just put them in the middle of the circle and let these ancestresses help them.
I will. I will. Thank you.
And then
Thank
take care of yourself.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take one more quick question from Asha. Asha, you want to unmute and have a specific question in mind?
Yes, I can. Are
Hi,
you able to
Asha.
hear me, Shefali?
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, Asha.
Hello. Thank you so much for taking me today. Monique, so my question is, what do the ancestors want me to know about this new recent work opportunity that presented itself to me?
Be more specific.
Yeah.
Um,
What is the work opportunity?
so it is a stepping into a promotion type opportunity.
How are you feeling about it? Sounds like you're having some hesitation.
There is some caveats with me actually landing and working specifically for this particular position. And that's why I hesitate a little bit, but the end goal, I feel good about it.
Okay. So here's where the questions that maybe you might want to sit with a little bit. Where is it that you want to go? What is it that you really want to create in your life? Is this in alignment with it? These are the questions that they're saying. And they want you to know that when one opportunity presents itself, not to feel like it's the only opportunity, right? That there are other opportunities that can come, and don't necessarily make a decision because you feel like it's the only opportunity that you'll get to go in the direction you want to go in. And really take a deeper look at the role that you will play in this promotion is the other thing they're saying. You have you have two ancestors that are sort of coming forward, and they're saying that, whatever you decide, you'll be supported in. They're not looking at this next step as the final step, that this is more of a step on the path, one path that you can take to get to where you want to go. But really taking some time and sitting and seeing where is it that you ultimately want your career to take you? What is it you ultimately want to be doing? Who are the people that you really want to share with? When you come to the end of your career, what is it that you want to feel proud about that you accomplished and that you did? And write those down and think about those, and then come back and look at that career, that promotion, and then ask yourself, is this the one that can get me there? And if you feel that it can, now ask those ancestors to align that opportunity with where you want to go, which could mean that some of the things that are a part of that job are not things that you really want to do. It can mean that those things fall off. It could mean that new opportunities show up. It could mean that this is just a stepping stone for the people that need to see you and what you can do, can see. And these ancestors can help you with that. So those are some of the things that you can do that will really kind of help you decide if this is the right one for you. They're not giving me the, yes, this is definitely it. They're really giving me, you have the free will to decide this. Once you are clear about it, now they will align with you to help you to be seen and to experience this position, or whatever position you decide, to see it and experience it in a way that uplifts you and connects you to your vision of what you have for your life. And you can utilize that even if you decide not to take it and you stay where you are. Ask them to make it so that you're visible, that the people that need to see you in your work show up, so that the opportunities open themselves up, and you become surrounded by an abundance of opportunities to showcase your work and what you can do and to advance your career. That's another way that we can work with them and get help from them, is having them open those doors for you. And I get that you have a number of them that are ready to open those doors for you and help you. Okay?
That sounds really, that sounds great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was a lot, Asha. So make sure you go back and watch or listen again to just to get all the information, because there was a lot of information there for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some good things coming for you. Just really asking for it to be open. And then also, I'm going to share this one quick thing. Check in with yourself to see where maybe you are holding back and not allowing yourself to be as visible. And just kind of check in there. Because you have a pretty exciting career ahead of you, with some pretty really great opportunities, but there's sort of a theme that they're giving, but you have to be seen. You have to be seen.
Okay,
Okay.
that completely makes sense. And I'll just add too, I think it also depends on the leadership that you're under, right? Allowing you to be seen and recognized. I think that's important for me. So that one really made sense.
Yeah. So, okay. So the leadership, absolutely, that can make a difference. But here's the thing, you have spiritual power behind you. You have ancestors behind you. So where somebody may be blocking you from being seen, your ancestors will make sure that you're seen. Because being seen doesn't only have to be physical, it can be energy wise. You may energetically connect with the person that's making a decision about a job that you really would like to go into. They may not have ever seen you. There's just something about you that they feel this connection, and then they start learning a little bit more about you, or they see you in a way that maybe nobody else has been able to see you. So remember that you have that spiritual power. You have some powerful ancestors that can open up doors that have been closed, that can make you seen when nobody else wants to see you. You're not in this alone.
That was really helpful. Thank you so much, MoNique.
You're welcome. I wish you much success with that new job if you
Thanks.
decide to take it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Asha.
Thank you, Shefali.
Yeah, we'll talk on Thursday as well. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. And that's the thing. Sometimes, sometimes we have to make the decision. Yes, I want to be seen. I want them to see me. And not even a wanting. It's like, yes, they are seeing me as I am, right? And so when you make that decision for yourself, they will see you. But if you keep saying to yourself, well, I don't want them to see me in this light, or this person is making me look bad, or anything like that. No, forget it. Just focus on you and who you are and your light, and let your light shine. It's all about the energy. It's all about the light. It's not even about what you do. It's about who you are.
And sometimes we have those ancestral pieces that are impacting the visibility. That may show up, that are making us unconsciously want to be invisible. So being, checking in with that as well. But I agree with you, when you just make that decision to be seen, regardless of what other people are doing, saying, and being. And also, you can really be strategic about it and really say, I want to be seen by the people who can help advance my career, who are, who will see me in a way that will give me opportunity. I mean, you can make it clear of how you want to be seen too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's about really getting clear on what you want. And that's for anything and everything in life, right? Really getting clear on what you want. And in knowing that your ancestors are here to support you, and that's that's another tool, another resource, and another support system that can help us. Yeah, my guides always like to use this term, to shore us up. I don't even know what that means, but to shore us up, to
Yeah.
strengthen our
Yeah.
field and shore us up, right? So that support is always there. So thank you, MoNique. This has been brilliant. And I love how, with our manifestations specifically, we can call on our ancestors to help us. I never thought of that, to be honest, before in the past. I never did.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, we've talked before. I've been on your show and you and I have talked about the ancestral wounds and the trauma and the things that are going on. And the ancestors have been saying to me from day one, we are more than just wounds. We are more than just wounds. We can help you. We can assist you. We can support you. You are our wildest dreams and we want to help you dream bigger. We want to help you. And I'm like, okay, 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 okay. I hear that. But, we got to deal with these. And finally, it was like, you know what? You're not dealing with any more wounds. You're going to be talking about how we can help, how we can help. And so that's how a lot of this came about.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely brilliant. And like a lot of times we would blame our ancestors. It's their fault. That's the reason why I'm not successful. That's the reason why I don't have money, blah, blah, blah. But no, not necessarily, right? In some cases, maybe, but even still, they also have other gifts and wisdom and teachings and energies and experiences that they can help us with, right? So
Absolutely.
and that's what we need to focus on, not focusing on the lack and the negative stuff or the bad stuff or the challenges. No, focus on the good stuff, focus on the support, focus on the love, focus on the strength, focus on the wisdom, focus on that instead, and that will help you to move farther along in your
Yeah.
life with whatever it is that you desire.
Yeah, it's
Oh
so
my goodness,
true.
so brilliant. It's just like you're always so like you always come in at a time when it feels like we just need, just one more little piece. There's just like one little piece missing. What is that one little piece missing, right? And so now you shared what that one little piece was. And of course, like I always say, your connection with the ancestors is like spot on, like to the point. I love it. And the wisdom is always so relevant and important for us. So thank you for that. And
Thank
of
you.
course, I always believe in one-on-one sessions. I get the most, for me, I get the most value from one-on-one sessions, unless I'm doing like a really major big program, but that's a different story. But like one-on-one sessions for me hit home every time. Always something transformational. Always something changes in my life when I have one-to-one sessions. So today it hasn't had, like you said, I don't remember the last time you offered a one-on-one session,
Oh, wow.
Monique. So it's like a 90-minute personal session plus a course, a healing ancestral property digital course is available to you from Dr. Monique. So please do take advantage of it because again, the wisdom and the just the processes that you receive, the guidance that you receive from your ancestors through Dr. Monique is going to be invaluable. So thank you for that.
Yes, definitely. And I'll also record it. So it's not something that you'll hear it and then not have an opportunity to go back. You'll be able to go back to it for a long time. I have clients that have said that they've gone back and listened to sessions that we've done, 3 or 4 years in the past and how helpful and new information that comes forward. So I encourage people to download it, save it, go back and listen to it in a few months, a few years, and hear the things that you missed the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree because there's always so much that we miss in the first time of our session, but when you go back and listen again, because you've now changed in some way, so now you can actually hear something else that was being said, but you couldn't hear it because you weren't at that vibration frequency to hear it, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So brilliant. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for all your questions. Again, like always, whenever Dr. Monique shares guidance and information from the ancestors, most of it is usually relevant for all of us, right? So go back and watch and listen again so that you can get that wisdom for you as well, right? Because it's usually relevant for all of us. We can all apply it in some way into our lives. It's not just for that one person who asked the question, right? So there's so much wisdom here. And there's so much support here from our ancestors. And that's what we have to focus on is the support that's available, not the
Yeah.
wounding.
And the support that's available and that it isn't that difficult to ask them for that support.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It's
can
so
ask
easy.
and I think in fact there's the Ancestral Business Council meditation that I included too. So that is the gift. And that is another way to start your connection with the ancestors. So
Yeah, brilliant.
I know that you have it listed there so that they can go and grab it. But you can start this connection now. And then if you want the deeper connection, then that one-on-one session is where the transformation really happens. And if you're wanting to move faster, that's the direction to go. If you're wanting to just start your connection, there are, there's that free guide that will help you. There's invocations. I send out invocations every Sunday. So if you sign up for the meditation, you'll get those invocations every Sunday that are helpful for connecting with your ancestors. But I would absolutely love to work with you on a deeper level to really help you see what it feels like to have that support and to know who's supporting you and how they're supporting you and what they can do to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. I highly recommend working with Dr. MoNique. I've worked with her in the past as well. Brilliant, transformational, so much wisdom. I love it. I always say that because it's so true. There's always so much that you receive from Dr. MoNique. So again, go back and watch and listen, receive all the wisdom from this call, and then check out the special offer page. And if you can, please do work with Dr. MoNique in that one-to-one 90-minute session. Plus, you also get the bonus course as well. So be willing to receive all of that and more. All right. So thank you so much, Dr. MoNique. So
Thank
lovely to have you
you.
back. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for
And
having me back. I love your show and I love all the people that come and it's just thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you so much.
and of course, like always, we can never, answer all the questions because there's always so many people who would like to, speak with you and work with you one-on-one during these calls. So of course, we will have Dr. MoNique come back again. So next time, right? So thank you, everyone. Until next time. Oh my goodness, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Yes, same time, same place. We'll be back tomorrow. There's a show. If you ask me right now who's on, I don't know, but you'll get the email. So thank you, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.